And we are live in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine. Zach Taylor rolling in, the defending champ of the AFC Cincinnati Bengals with the 31st overall pick, looking for some help and reinforcements there. Jordan Davis, our first group, interior lineman. A man that big should not move in that manner. We will dig into that in just a moment, but on the field inside our stadium as we prepare for our third day of the Scouting Combine with Bucky Brooks, longtime scout of the Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks, and Lance Zierlein, a man that has authored so many bios. He has a publishing credit. Penguin, as a matter of fact. Penguin Publishing is all over him. Gentlemen, it's going to get started at 4 p.m. It'll start with the interior linemen, followed up by the edge, and then the linebackers. And there is a palpable buzz inside the scouting community for what we are going to see here this afternoon. Here's a little thumbnail of what is to come over the next 5-6 hours.
Hutchinson, sack! The Michigan defense led by number 97, Aidan Hutchinson.
Wow, Thibodeau read that perfectly.
He's going to get sacks. He's going to get strips.
Karloftis is there. George Karloftis sacked.
Karloftis gets another.
Karloftis leading the way.
Ojabo caused the fumble. He's jacked down from behind. Sack time, David Ojabo. Hey, baby, big play by the Wolverines. That's David Ojabo.
Our man Daniel Jeremiah going to get rolling with Rich Eisen starting at 4 o'clock. And you see here, as DJ as dialed in as anyone in the business, talking to all those GMs, personnel directors, and points to the buzz that is building for the workout tonight. It is a stacked position. So, Bucky, Lance, share with the folks watching. What is it about this group? Why is it so stacked? What particular position or style of play is it stacked at?
Well, I mean, it's stacked from top to bottom, but particularly on the outside. When you think about the edge rushers that are in this class, it's kind of what you want in terms of flavor. Do you want a guy that is tough and durable and can beat you just because he outlasts you? Do you want a guy that can come off the edge and bend and burst and kind of jump tall buildings in the single bound? There are all kinds of pass rushers available and a lot of guys who have high-end talent and potential.
Yeah, and to piggyback that, I think it's worth noting, too, that and this is the way the Combine works, some of those same rushers are going to be in the linebacker group because they are considered, quote-unquote outside linebackers. But for 3-4 teams, those are going to be pass rushers. So what it really gets down to, Money, is there's big guys, there's strong guys, there's long guys, there's fast guys. The fully stock flavor of pass rushers, as Bucky mentioned, I mean, it is packed in this class.
All right, well, let's speak to why it's packed. Let's go individual. Get us started, Bucky, with someone who very well could end up being the number 1 overall player selected in the draft, Aidan Hutchinson out of Michigan.
Man, I love Aidan Hutchinson because I think Aidan Hutchinson plays the game the right way. And by doing that, I mean he's a guy that is as tough as they come. He brings great effort and energy, and he's a very skilled player. And watch him in the Big Ten. It's that. It is the sheer power. Watch him walk the tackle back, but then watch him utilize his hand skills to be able to get the sack. It is nonstop, relentless pursuit. There, a little double team. He whips both guys, slips in the crack, and then he finds a way to get him down. You saw his final season. He was able to do it in a variety of ways. Stout and solid against the run. You saw him use the long arm to make sure he controlled it. And then it's just the effort and the energy. When you think about this game, playing hard is a skill, and he has that, and it's one of the reasons why there are plenty of D-line coaches that really love how he plays.
It's kind of weird because I think there's a lot of guys that really like, not as many that really love. And when you watch him play, it's hard to understand why, because he really gets after it. I mean, he's a monster in the weight room. You're going to see a tremendous workout out here at the Combine. He has a will to succeed on every snap. You're going to get the motor going hot and heavy. And I think from a comparison standpoint, Money, I know you're a Purdue defensive line guy. He really reminded me of Ryan Kerrigan when I watched Kerrigan come out. I think he's got that same type of intensity off the edge. I don't know that he's going to be
He's wearing number 97. How close is he to the Bosa's?
He's not, and that's the problem. Is everyone wanted to say he's a Watt or a Bosa brother. He's not a Watt and he's not a Bosa brother, but what he is a really good player with good hands. Bucky really pointed out on the exos that we just showed you, he's got skills, he's got strength, he's got physicality, he's got attitude, but I think what he doesn't have is special pass rush, and that's what the Bosas had, that's what the Watt brothers had, and that's not what he has. He'll be a good rusher, he won't be a great rusher, and I think people really want him to be a great rusher.
All right, well, let's get to someone who was the #1 overall recruit when he was coming out of high school, goes to Oregon, Kevon Thibodeau, and look, I thought this was going to be a no-brainer, but it sounds like we're getting a little wobble on this.
Yeah, and then that's because his tape is a little bit uneven, but the traits are really substantial, and you're going to see the range, his ability to move and explode quickly. He's got great upfield explosiveness. He's got lateral range and twitch. He can pursue across the field. I mean, there's some snaps where he goes and makes tackles way down the field, but, you know, it's the strength also at the point of attack to stack and shed that I really, really like. I think he's going to be a really tough guy to run against because he can stack and shed, and he can also twitch laterally and range to the sideline. As a pass rusher, what teams want to see more is unleashing the traits and turning it into rush production. And you don't always get that rush production, Buck, but you know, I was taught a long time ago, look for the traits, and then we'll worry about the coaching later, and I think that's what some people see with Kevon Thibodeau.
Yeah, now, here's the thing. When you're the #1 recruit in high school and the bar is set so high for you, and then you have an outstanding rookie or freshman season at Oregon, you wanted to see more. That said, maybe I nitpick him a little bit because you just want so much more from him. But when you see the 27 bench reps, he has strength. He's going to come out here, he's going to dazzle on the turf. You look at the tape, when he's locked and loaded, he makes plays. It's just that he leaves you wanting more. That said, you can sit here and say that he could be a double-digit sack artist consistent at the next level if he decides that's what he wants to be. And because of that, that upside is going to be alluring to a team.
You mentioned consistency, maybe effort is showing up or lack thereof on tape. Not the case with George Karloftis of Purdue, Bucky.
Oh, grown man. Tough as nails. I love the grit that he displays when he plays. I know you have a fondness for Purdue players, and when I watch Karloftis, it's about playing it in an old-school fashion. Physical, rugged, he will power drive guys off the edge. You see the stat line where he had 14.5 sacks during his time. This is a very productive player. It's not always sexy and flashy, but, man, there's a lot of substance to his game.
All right, let's keep going, Lance, on the depth that this group has, and we stay in the Big Ten, and David Ojabo.
David Ojabo has a chance to be special as a pass rusher. David Ojabo has rare pass rush talent for being so raw. As a run defender, he's extremely raw. I don't think you can have him out there on the field right now on first and second down. But when he gets to third down, you know, I had a chance to talk to him about his pass rush talent, and he does some things that guys who've been, you know, rushing the passer their whole lives aren't doing. He took up the sport late because he came over as a basketball player and saw Jason Owe, now Adafe Owe, at Penn State. He was at the same high school. And he said, well, look, if he can play football, I can play football. So he went up to the football team. What he did was he copied Josh Uche, he copied Kwity Paye, and he copied elements of Frank Clark's game. And so what you have now is a pass rusher who is a mimicry artist who has stacked elements of their game in his pass rush. So he's very raw against the run, and he's very skilled against the pass. It's highly unusual to see that.
Bucky. We shift from David Ojabo and putting Bucky's top 5 up on the screen, and he knows he's going to have to pay that bill in about an hour and a half when these guys sit down next to him, and I'm going to be standing right on the other side of that camera watching it because it's going to be wildly entertaining for me. But, Bucky, let's stay with the task at hand. I don't know if anybody got more buzz coming out of Senior Bowl than Jermaine Johnson.
No, Jermaine Johnson put on an absolute show down in Mobile, Alabama, and it's a continuation of how he played his final season at Florida State. This is a guy that has it all in the repertoire. He can bend and burst. He finishes the dip and rip, and he gets quarterbacks down. But he also is not just a finesse player. Heavy-handed. He moves people around. He stones them. He has a natural tomahawk move. But this is what got people excited. The spin move. Them able to do a two-hand swipe to work inside. And then this. Beep. Beep, beep, beep. He forks lifts him, takes him back. When you can turn speed to power, it really excites people. This is a player with a ton of tools in the toolbox. Very exciting prospect to watch.
I love him. I loved him since the time I watched him on tape. He went from Last Chance U. He was actually on the show there. Went to Georgia. Looked good at Georgia, but he looked great at Florida State. So he's a guy who's getting better, and that's one of the things that I really like is the run defense got really good this year. I mean, he is stout at the point of attack. He is a menace. But what I really loved was that you could see him grow as a rusher during the season. And then when you look at the Senior Bowl, the culmination, he's already taken a step as a pass rusher. There's no reason to believe he's not going to take another one. He's made himself a lot of money already this offseason.
All right, keep it going, Lance. Travon Walker out of Georgia. I mean, it kind of seems like a wide spread here that we're hearing when it comes to Walker.
You know, DJ and I kind of split on him. I'm not as high on Travon Walker. DJ's very high on him. And I may be wrong on this one because I know a lot of people around the league love the kid. And here's why. He is an elite run defender. He's a very long player at the point of attack. And his ability to get into tackles quickly, get extension, and post up on the edge is what makes him really, really special against the run. What I want to see more of is his ability as a pass rusher. And what Georgia did is they bumped him down inside. He played 5 technique. He played 4-eye. So he was lined up over a tackle all the time. He was not outside as much, so you didn't get that same advantageous look as a pass rusher. But everything you're going to see here, his ability to range to the sideline, his athletic talent, you're going to see it on the field today. Now, he is going to be an athletic player. It's rare to see guys who can drop into space and have the effect and the impact that he had. Right here, his ability to bounce that quickly into a passing lane, that's something you just don't see from guys who are 270, 280 pounds. He's got the frame to take on a lot more weight. So we could be looking at a 290-pound base end. That's fairly rare. I think he can play 5 technique, and I think he's going to be an elite run defender. The question is, can he rush off the edge? I think that's something he still has to answer.
Yeah, it's tough because when you do the evaluation, you can find this guy line up anywhere on their front line. And what you get excited about is the athleticism and the versatility. This is a guy that plays with tremendous power. He can move anywhere. We talk about nose tackle, 3 technique, bumping out wide at outside defensive tackle, and then off the edge. Because of that, there are a lot of defensive coordinators who are very creative in thinking that they can bring Travon Walker in and unleash a top talent. This is a guy that's going to go much higher than his production and performance suggested at Georgia.
Well, then let's figure out which defensive coordinator will be so fortunate to have a Swiss Army knife like that in his at his disposal. Let's go matchmakers. We start at the top. Aidan Hutchinson, Bucky. Where do you see him landing?
Okay, so sometimes when you're playing matchmaker, like you're trying to set your friends up on a nice date, you got to make sure that the one person kind of has those intangible qualities. When I see Dan Campbell walk in the building with that 32-ounce cup of Java, all energy and effort, Aidan Hutchinson has to be a Detroit Lion because Aidan Hutchinson plays as hard as they come on the front line. And just to think about him adding to what they want to do in the Motor City, I can see him biting the kneecap because Dan Campbell suggests that's what you got to do to win.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lions.
No brainer.
It's a swipe right scenario here. Swipe right, take him, and
now,
it's a wrap.
This I'm interested in because, Buck, I mentioned we heard the video behind us, and you're probably going to sit down with this young man in a little while, and some people projected him to maybe go #1 overall, but we're playing matchmaker for Kevon Thibodeau.
So it's a good thing today in my room I was doing a little yoga because I'm ready to be flexible and nimble when Kevon comes over because he's going to be mad at me because I think he's a perfect fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he's not going to like that because that puts him down in the teens. But when you think about his game, he's a wide 9 defensive end, a guy that likes to come off the edge, play with a little runway. His speed, athleticism will be perfect there. It's just later than he wants to go.
Yeah, but they got 3 picks, so if they wanted to move up for him, they can move up for him. I'm trying to help you, Buck. I'm trying to protect you. You know, I like him with the Jets, and I like him at #4. And one of the reasons, the Jets have to have rush. I mean, they've been looking for rush forever. Where can they get rush? They can get it off the edge with Kevon Thibodeau. We talked about him earlier, but when you want a player, you want a projectable player and a rush guy, you want explosiveness, and you want the ability to get up the field quickly. That's where the rush begins, and that's something he can do. He's got some work to do, but I think that's something that Robert Saleh and that staff can get out of.
All right, how about our Purdue man? Purdue Pete, by the way, the most menacing of all the mascots. He wields a weapon, a sledgehammer, and he's got that gaze. It's terrifying. Just like George Karloftis. Where does he go?
Look, man, we're playing matchmaker, and we're doing all this stuff like you do on a dating app. And so I'm looking at Mike Vrabel and how tough he is and how rugged he is. And then I'm saying, well, George Karloftis is rough and tough. He fits what they want to do. Let's put him on that thing. So let's swipe right and move him over to, yes, I like it, match him up with the Tennessee Titans because this guy is a hard-hat and lunch pail worker off the edge. Tremendous effort guy, brings the energy. He'll be a nice fit with Mike Vrabel and the Titans.
I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs. I do like that fit, by the way, but I'm going to go Kansas City Chiefs, and here's why. Kansas City loves power rushers. We've seen it forever. They've had fast guys, but they brought in Frank Clark a few years ago, and he's the type of guy that I think Karloftis can be. The thing I really like about George Karloftis is he is a dominant power rusher. His speed to power and ability to bull rush are already NFL caliber. I think there's some elements he needs to add as a rusher, but the way he gets pushed into the pocket is really, really impressive, and I think it's something that will translate money right away into the NFL.
What's this swipe right you keep talking about? I'm not familiar with this.
Well, I'm not really that familiar with it.
Is that right? Because you keep saying it. That's what I'm trying to figure out what you keep talking about.
I'm not familiar. He started it, and I came wrong.
What is it?
I'm an old person. I'm an old person, but I guess
really?
that's what people do. Like, that's what they do. That's what they tell me the young people do. That's how they meet people.
David Ojabo.
Look, so David Ojabo, when I look at him and I think about the Giants, and this is a fit because the Giants have taken guys who weren't quite polished and they developed them into stars. And I think about their Super Bowl teams with Matthias Kiwanuka and Osi Umenyiora. And I'm like, you know what? David Ojabo has similar traits. And so if you get him in the building, you develop him just a little bit, this is a guy that can star at the next level. He's a New York Giant all day when I watch him play.
I'm going to go with the Falcons, but I will say I think this is a tricky one with the Falcons because they've taken some chances on some rushers over the last several years, and they have struck out at times. Tack McKinley, we know from Clemson. Vic Beasley is another one who had production. Yeah. Off the top, he had production, but it did not sustain. So David Ojabo is very rare, is very raw, as I mentioned, but he has rare pass rush talent. So can they get the productivity from him? Probably not in year one, but I think by year 2, year 3, designated pass rusher, he can come in there and really start to wreck shop.
We're talking about just the ascent and how much Jermaine Johnson has helped himself through this draft process, Buck. So how high does he go?
Oh, I think he can go right on the outside of the top 10. So I'm going to give him to the Minnesota Vikings to put opposite Danielle Hunter. When I think about Jermaine Johnson being able to come and be an immediate impact player off the edge, part of it is due to his ability to turn speed into power, his ability to dip and rip and get to the quarterback, but then he also has some other moves in the repertoire. I think you put him opposite Danielle Hunter, the Minnesota Vikings are a problem for teams.
I think Bucky's right. I've got him with the Eagles at number 15, but here's the thing. I believe 15, pick number 15. He's probably not going to be there because what's going to happen today is he's going to really shine and his stock is going to move up. Now, the Eagles have multiple draft picks. He fits them great, but they may have to, flip-flop a pick here or there just to get up as high as they need to make here's what they got to do. Get ahead of Bucky's Vikings pick if you want to get him. Bucky already told you he's going to the Vikings, so what do we have to do? We got to move up ahead of the Vikings. Yep. That's the only way we're going to get him money.
Or maybe you just stay and you wait for Travon Walker.
I mean, you could stay and wait for Travon Walker, but I got Travon Walker going to the dog pound. Now, I know the Baker Mayfield fans and stuff may not like this and say, hey, we need to get him a pass catcher. We'll worry about that at another time. Travon Walker is a perfect fit for the Cleveland Browns because he can play multiple spots. You put him opposite or alongside Myles Garrett, he's going to get the one-on-ones, and we've seen the freakish athleticism. He is going to win those battles and become a more productive pass rusher than he displayed as a collegiate.
I'm fine with that, but the fact is he's a Raven. So, I mean, he may not go to the Ravens. He may not make it to the Ravens, but this guy is a Raven. This guy looks like a Raven. He's tough like a Raven.
Like you mean in the face? Like he's got a bird face?
Well, not like a bird face, more like a football player that the Ravens would draft.
Oh, figuratively.
Yeah.
I got you.
Not literally,
I don't like commenting on people's personal appearance. There's nothing they can do about that. It's the way they're born.
No, but
kind of show we're running
he's
here.
He's got Raven tendencies, I tell you that much right now. And so at the point of attack, the guy is just a brute force. And I think he really fits the rugged style of the Baltimore Ravens.
It drives me crazy, honestly, about that. How, we always hear, oh, he's a Raven. This guy's a Raven. And then the Ravens draft him, and then the player is exceptional. And it's well, anytime you hear a guy's a Raven, why don't you take him?
Yeah.
Why doesn't another team take him?
Steelers
3 or 4 picks ahead of them.
They don't play like the Ravens, though. Yeah. They're not tough and rugged like the Ravens.
What's wrong with playing football tough and rugged? Why doesn't every team play tough and rugged?
Everybody's not built like that. Some people like the cute stuff.
You know who plays tough and rugged? How about getting coached up by Cam Jordan and John Randall? I mean, what an experience for these young men here, getting ready to get going on the field at Lucas Oil Stadium, and Cam Jordan and John Randall are getting you ready. When we come back, we're going to look back to last night, talk about day 2 winners, and man, were there some winners out of that running back and offensive line group. That's coming up next on Scouting Combine Today.
The NFL Combine, where 337-pound people look like they're barely 200 pounds. The fans here of all ages watching the offensive lineman work out. Ike Ekwonu could be the first overall pick in the draft we're looking at right there. Oh, puppies in the house.
The puppy backpack.
Trevor Penning. He has got the nasty to match that athleticism.
Oh my God. Of course you laugh at me. Thanks, man. No concern.
Ready to feast on running backs right now here in Lucas Oil Stadium. Breece Hall now.
That was smooth and easy.
Oh,
he's playing him behind Joe Burrow. He's giving him a hard time. Kenneth Walker.
the only other running back to win the Walter Camp Player of the Year award in the last 10 seasons is named Derrick Henry. Pierre Strong Jr. 4.39. He is now unofficially the fastest running back here at the Combine.
What is up, my dudes? We're here at the NFL Combine, just finished. We got some shrimp cocktail, and let's dig in.
Okay.
Look, the fingers. That's amazing. One bite, and you gotta talk with your mouth full. That's all. That's where it's fun, you know. And then, clean out the hands. We're good to go.
Oh God.
That's disgusting.
Oh.
Who was that, by the way?
Some guy that was eating shrimp cocktail. No, I thought maybe for a second it was Lindenbaum, but it's not.
No, it's not Lindenbaum.
He was 30, so it's all right, here we go. Let's get to the workout and the show that was put on last night by the running backs. We start with Breece Hall, Bucky, and what you saw out there from the Iowa State Cyclone.
Look, I think it was a bit of a surprise. I don't know if many expected Breece Hall to go and put the number that he put up, but this is a guy, when you watch him play, patience turns in production. He put it down. That time will only help him maybe solidify himself as RB1.
He ran well. You mentioned he showed out in the drills, and the 40 times were incredible. And that's something that we've seen that carried over from day one with the wide receivers. I mean, we had, 3 or 4 offensive linemen running sub-5 40s. We had the running back show out as well. And when you get a look at the running backs, the top 5 running back times here in their 40s, I mean, look at what's going on here in Indy. But we got a 4.39. We got a 4.38 from Kenny Walker. We got a 4.42 from James Cook. I mean, those are your top 5 running backs, and we got 2 of them that went sub 4.4, Buck. And by the way, Breece Hall, after putting together an all-around exceptional workout, was asked about how he felt about his performance.
You just finished. How do you feel?
I feel great. You know, today was a day for me to come out and showcase what I could do. And today I wanted to prove that I was RB1, and I felt like I did that.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah.
I love it. He may be RB1, but here's a guy right now. It's RB1 in terms of the 40-yard dash, and that's Pierre Strong.
So, Dak.
I tell you what now, I like him on tape. He's another smooth player. He's got the good lateral. He's a little upright, but he's got some lateral agility for being kind of an upright back at times. We know he's fast, but he can also really catch it. That's something he did in college as well. And I think what he did was he just reminded people, hey, I was good at East-West, and I'm really fast, and you need to make sure that you take a look at where you're slotting me.
Buck, you heard Breece Hall talk about being the RB1, but he's going to have to knock off Kenny Walker to get to that spot.
Yeah, you know, I think it just comes down to stylistically what do you want at the running back position, because Kenny Walker, to me, is maybe the best pure running back in terms of being able to run it when you hand it to him, put the ball in his belly. This guy gets it done. I love his vision, his balance, his body control. That sub 4.4 time, that was an eye-opener. I don't know if anyone who watched him really thought that he was going to put up that kind of number in the 40.
All right, let's shift. It wasn't just running backs. It was offensive line yesterday. So, Lance, give us your first winner.
I think it was Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning won whenever he walked out on the turf because he looked like an absolute monster. He's just so thick-boned. I mean, and the fact that he is as big as he is, and I mean from the ankles up to the neck, that's impressive. But then when you watched him run a 4.89 40-yard dash, and you see him right here on the pull drill, the way he can get out of his stance and then get up the field, that's really, really impressive. He's a power stepper. He can play tackle, guard. I mean, everything he did was an impressive feat yesterday.
Bucky, who jumped out at you?
Charles Cross always jumps out at me whenever I watch him, and he certainly impressed during his workout. This is a guy that has it all when you watch the tape. He has balance. He has body control. He's really good with his hands, being able to stick. But then watching him move, 4.95, talk about the 10th fastest among the offensive linemen. But it is his ability to show that he is a natural franchise tackle at left tackle, to me, that is going to make him a high commodity in this draft.
You know, let me ask you this. If I'm a GM, I'm nervous about taking offensive linemen to play for Mike Leach. Because it's like, I mean, how long are you holding those blocks? A half second, 3/4 of a second before that ball is out? That's my only fear because of the style of football that they play there.
But he's a technician. The one difference is this guy's a technician, and most of the air raid guys are like just get in the way and wall you off like a basketball defender.
Like I remember hearing this about Dillard. It's
I think it's different, though, because I think this guy a little more.
It's not fair to him. I'm not saying it's fair to him.
A little more dog, yeah.
A little more bite.
All right.
Yeah.
You're saying a little bit different in Starkville than it is up on a Palouse.
Yeah, a lot different. A lot different in Stark Vegas.
One more.
One more. I'm going to go with Bernard Raymond, the Austrian. And he was a guy who I think there were people waiting to knock him down a little bit. He had some issues at Senior Bowl and some of the one-on-ones. But it was no big deal to me. He's only played tackle 2 years. I mean, he's a former tight end. You can see that the way he moves and the way he runs. And he's a guy who just moves differently. You see this right here. I talked about Trevor Penning looking good. Bernard Raymond looks really, really good with his change of direction, his athleticism. Former tight end who grew into a much bigger body. He's played tackle for 2 years. He learned it during a COVID year where he was by himself looking at tape on a phone. And what he does is he's actually a very technically sound guy for playing 2 years. So I think sky's the limit for Bernard Raymond. And I think that this did a lot to bolster his stock after what was kind of an average Senior Bowl.
I can't remember which wide receiver quarterback told us that the Eagles had him play little mini hoops, shoot some Nerf hoops when he was in their meeting.
Sam Howell.
There you go. Sam Howell of North Carolina that told us that. And so our crack staff was like, you know what, let's get in on that action. So how about our Kimmy Checks going at it with Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni on the mini hoop?
I think it's competition time for us. You said Gardner Minshew. He's like, hey, can I pop a shirt? I want to let you know how serious I took this. I got to rip away pants. So why don't we do it? Let's see who's the best out of the two of us.
Let's
what do you think, Coach?
I'm ready to compete.
Right,
I don't know anything about your game.
I explained the game a little bit earlier. So what we're going to do, we're both going to shoot. We're going to have our awesome guys, Travis and Jordan, rebound for us. If you make it, you move it one step closer towards the end zone here, right? But if I make it, then I move it one step closer this way.
Gotcha.
Kind of get it. I think once we do
the video that y'all showed me beforehand explained it.
Was very good.
Great coaching.
Oh, thank you. All right, so you ready? I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Do we grab it or no?
You're counting it down.
Yeah,
so you already got a little bit of advantage, but that's okay.
You know what? You have no idea. I'm going to be first round for you after you see the skill. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, my rebounders, you take that one.
Oh, oh no, oh no. Rebounders, what is happening? Jeez. No, 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 no. 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 Oh, oh. Move. Oh my God. You guys, I take this so seriously. I'm an only child. Okay, okay, okay. I've lost my mic. I don't even care. I don't even care.
Ah.
Okay, okay. Boom, boom, boom. Jordan.
This is harder than you think. I'm out of breath here.
Oh.
For
on,
game.
guys. I can't fall again. Oh. Whatever, dude. All right, this was fun. How would you rate my competition? I fell. I wore breakaways.
Very good.
Maybe the most I've worked out in a while. But regardless, head coach Nick Sirianni. This is fun. This is the fun of the combine, right?
This is great. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Coach.
Highlight of the combine. Highlight of the combine.
I love it.
The number one event that took place. So Kimmy joined us. you're with us.
Yeah.
And we wanted you to be next to Bucky here because we're going to do a breakdown.
Yes.
We're going to do Scout's Take here.
This is incredibly disrespectful.
No, it's going to be incredibly disrespectful.
No, we are cool because what I love to see in athletes, I want to see them play multiple sports because there's something that can be gleaned from watching them compete in other sports.
Okay.
So here, what I love about the XO right away, I like the competitiveness. I like the hand-eye coordination,
nice,
catching it. I like the agility, being able to go there. I like a little feistiness. You're a little more physical than I expected. I get it.
Yeah.
I like being able to get it. You bounce and move. There, look, here we go. So now we're going to backpedal out. Now, what I would tell you is shoulders over knees, over toes. And so we had too much coming back, so we failed. But here's what I always love about athletes. Let's see if we can bounce up and get right back to
Look
it.
at it.
Can we keep the focus? Look, I feel like he was being disrespectful, so I want to see you turn up. I want to see turn up the competition. Turn up the competition. Overall, I'll give you a B+ for your efforts because I love how you competed.
A B+.
A B+.
That's an
I'll
A+.
give you B+. Oh, no. Hey, you fell down. You fell down. You Jalen Ramsey in the Super Bowl. No. It was good. Not quite there, but nice.
You're
It was
throwing
nice.
jabs, Bucky.
I'm not throwing jabs. That was like a little soft one.
You know what?
He doesn't hand out B+. I'm telling you, Bucky is the king of the C.
No.
So B+ is
Okay.
a big
A
win
B+
for you,
is
Kimmy.
good.
It's a big grade.
Are you
It's a big
guys?
grade.
You guys want to play later? Or are we going to run it back?
I mean, I am a target. I don't
but
mind shooting.
I got that one thing I got to go to with that person.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you're
so
out.
I'm just tied up.
Bucky, you game?
Oh, I'm always game.
Really?
Carolina plays Duke tonight. I am ready to get this cracking.
There you go.
I'm ready to get this cracking.
Iowa women's basketball is here in the Big Ten tournament, literally
They are.
next door.
They are.
I'm
I'll talk to the head
Hawkeye,
coach.
So let's go.
I'll talk to the head coach.
All right,
Let's
you
get
and
it.
I later.
Perfect.
No B
We got it.
pluses. I will
No.
stay
Keep
on
an
my
eye.
feet.
Wow.
I'll be watching. Thank you. Kimmy, still to come. Again, it is an exceptional day here with all the edge rushers, the linebackers. We're going to dig into that next level of defense and focus on our linebackers. Nakobe Dean, how high can he go? What were his measurables? Oh, we're going to get into that as well next on NFL Scouting Combine today. Starts at 4 p.m. Got a good 5-6 hours of our elite group at the 2022 Combine. No more excitement for any day than what we have here this afternoon and evening. The defensive line and the linebackers. And, Buck, when we talk about these defensive linemen and we talk about the linebackers are getting overshadowed. Understandable. It's the deepest group of edge rushers we've had in a while, but there's still a lot of excitement about what we have at that second level of the defense.
Yeah, there's still a tremendous amount of excitement about what could be at the second level of defense. There are a ton of linebackers that have great instincts, great awareness. They can go from sideline to sideline. They can play in coverage, and they are able to make it happen. When I look at this drill, shuffle and go, shuffle, redirect, all this stuff, this is what we want to see. Can you shuffle, turn, spin, react, and then get back and make things happen? When you think about playing and coverage, and because the game is such a pass-centric game, Logan Wilson demonstrated that. Now let's see it play in action, moving around, being able to get the plays, keeping vision, being able to react. All of those things come into play is one of the reasons why Logan Wilson has already emerged one of the top linebackers. Let's see who's next to do it in this draft class.
All right, Buck, so that's the drill to watch, and that brings us to our Heat Index as we get a look at your top 5 linebackers right there on the screen. Start us off with Damon Clark.
Ooh, Damon Clark from LSU is a nice, solid player.
That's me.
And that's for you, Lance.
That's me. Damon Clark is a nice, solid player. He's fast. He's physical. Damon Clark, for whatever reason, is just not getting talked about a whole lot right now. But what you're going to find out today is he's much faster than you think. He's a big dude. He's a physical guy. And the Flames need to come. You have to start heating it up and getting the Flames going for this big, physical LSU Tiger. So I'm going to go 4.5. It's a 4.5 star, 4.5 flame, I should say, index for Damon Clark. He's going to light it up at the Combine, and people should be talking a lot more about this guy.
I give myself 0 flames for setting up this segment poorly thus far. But now it's time for me to get on track and maybe reclaim a little bit of that fire. Let's go Brandon Smith, Bucky.
The Penn State linebacker Brandon Smith is one that we certainly haven't put enough attention on. So, look, let me put a little kerosene on this fire. I'm going to give him 4 flames because this is a guy that will be a star at the next level. And one of the reasons because he's an outstanding off-the-ball linebacker, sideline to sideline, can come off the edge. I don't know if there's a better blitzer from space than Brandon Smith. This is a guy that is kind of that hybrid nickel player. He can line up right inside over those slot guys and make things happen in a few different elements of the defense. I like him. I think this guy's going to be a terrific find in a big-time defense that's versatile.
And Lance, you're sticking at Penn State with Jesse Luketa.
Yeah, the Canadian tough man. Unfortunately, I'm only going to give him 2.5 flames.
That's not
And this
cool.
is, look, this is the reason why I love him. He's tough. He's physical. The problem for Jesse is he's coming off a really good Senior Bowl, and I don't think he's gonna really excel at some of the things Bucky talked about, the sprint and shuffle. I think those are going to be things that he is bogged down a little bit by. So only 2.5.
I just got a little note in my ear here.
Yep.
We apparently have not talked about Georgia defenders in the last 3 minutes, so we have got to get that going immediately. Buck, how about Quay Walker?
Okay, so Quay Walker is a solid player, but I kind of believe, like you, we talk so much about Georgia defenders that maybe he's been rising up a little bit. I'm going to give him 3 flames. I don't know if he's necessarily the dominant player that some people talk about, so I'm going to kind of pull back a little bit. I'm only going to give him 3. Not a lot of hot sauce on his game.
All right, let's wrap it up here, Lance. Malcolm Rodriguez.
Oh, man, this guy, I love Malcolm Rodriguez. Malcolm Rodriguez is the most slept-on linebacker by the general public and some of the draft media. Malcolm Rodriguez, 2-time state champ wrestler. He is a guy you'd want your daughter to marry. He's also a guy that you love to sift through the traffic and go get running backs. I'm going to go with 4.5 flames for him. He's
all that, and you won't even go to 5? Like, I want my daughter to marry him. He has sift through the trash. He's a wrestler. And
give
you
me
give him
5. Can you guys put 5 up there? Go the full 5.
Come on.
Get the alarm. Sound the alarm.
Come on, where is it?
Sound the alarm.
Oh, look at that. We got 5.
Give him the Rogers rate.
People excited.
The people are cheering for him.
You went to 5 flames on Malcolm Rodriguez.
Malcolm, if he'd get 6 flames if he had 33-inch arms and not like
those T-Rex arms.
A little T-Rexy, but 5 flames.
Now, that's your favorite guy.
Yeah, that's my guy.
We talked about this yesterday, Buck. You know my favorite guy.
Who's your favorite guy?
If I can't get a linebacker out of West Lafayette, I want a linebacker out of Laramie, and that's my man Chad Mooma. What do we got for Mooma?
Okay, so look, this is by design because you saw who did the drill, Logan Wilson. Where did Logan Wilson play at? He played in Wyoming. So I wanted to get one of the guys who knows how to play the game much like he did. Mooma does all of the things that you want to see at the second level. Sideline to sideline playmaker, stuffs the stat sheet with his versatility. He is going to be a star. We gave him 4.5. Let's go 5. Can I get another flame?
Can we go to 5?
Can I get another flame, Mossy? Can I get another flame?
Come on. Give me flame. There it is. No.
There's the Scovilles.
Come on. Here we go.
Mooma. How about that? Back-to-back 5-alarm fires or 5 fire emojis, however you describe it. So, see, we got a lot of talent in that linebacker group. It'll be the last group that's out there deep into the night here in prime time, but no reason to overlook the linebackers because of how dominant that man, Jordan Davis, and all of the defensive linemen, they are getting set to put on a show. It's going to start at 4 p.m. with DJ and Rich Eisen. We're going to get into Jordan Davis and all these defensive linemen when we return. Break it all down with Bucky and Lance on Scouting Combine today.
Davis, the reigning defensive player of the week, makes the tackle. Oh, eat him up big, Jordan Davis swallowed him whole. It's a safety. He's got a score on his resume now.
Back on NFL Scouting Combine today with Bucky Brooks and Lance Zierlein. So we've talked edge, we have talked linebackers. Now it is time to talk the all-important, don't we know it? The Rams just won the Super Bowl with the most dominant defender we've seen in the last, 40 years. Aaron Donald, he does his damage on the inside, Bucky. So here's a look at your top 5 defensive tackles. Get us started with the number 1 name on that list, Jordan Davis, and what makes him special.
Jordan Davis is an intriguing prospect because he reminds me a little bit of Marcus Stroud, who also was a fellow Bulldog. Just big, overwhelms people at the point of attack. And it's just one of those things that you have to really pop in the tape and kind of check it out and see what it looks like. And so here we're talking about a guy who is just an absolute monster. Size, be able to stack and shit, gets in the hole, makes plays at the point of attack, has surprising quickness for a man of his size, quick arm over, meets a running back in the backfield, finds a way to consistently get him down, and it's just the quickness and range for a guy of his ability. You don't expect big guys of this size to be able to just kind of get from sideline to sideline. He does it. He's a monster against the run, flashes a little bit of pass rush ability, but at the end of the day, he is going to make his money because he could be and should be a dominant player at the point of attack against the run game.
Just put it in the paint, big man. Did you see that?
How about that?
Wow. Here's the thing. He's a gap hog. I mean, you can't have your A gaps. You can't have either one of them. He has all of your A gaps, and that's just the way it's going to be. He can play nose in a 3-4. He can play 0 technique. He can play 1 technique. You want a 4-3 nose, a 3-4 nose. If you're looking for somebody to eat the gaps up, if you want somebody to get down the line and make plays, he can do all of that. And as Bucky mentioned, the quick wins are a really big deal, and he can get quick wins, and that's because he's got some first step quickness, and he's got really quick, powerful hands. So Jordan Davis, people will look at him and say money. They'll say, well, he's not a 3-down player, so he doesn't have the same value. How valuable is it when you can't run anywhere near him?
I'll answer that because I just saw it for 17 games. You want to know what's not valuable? 3rd and 2. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. I just saw it for 17 games. So if that guy's only out there for 2 downs and it leads to 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s instead of 3rd and 2s, there's your value right there. It's a more valuable 3rd down for your defense. Let's go to DeMarvin Leal.
I think for DeMarvin Leal, the question's going to be where does he play? I know he's going to run about a 4.85 today. He's a good athlete. He can really move. Texas A&M kind of bouncing between 3 technique, the defensive tackle spot, and defensive end. He played a lot of base end. I think what he is he's an old school, Lovie Smith, Rod Marinelli, up the field, one gapping, 4-3 defensive tackle. That's what I think. But I also think he can be a 3-4 defensive end as well. He has got some quickness. He has got great agility. He's a player that I think is going to be a better player than he was a productive player this year in terms of, getting after the quarterback. But he's a guy that has the opportunity, I believe, to quiet some of the concerns, including my own concerns about him, with a big performance out here today to show, hey, I'm a much better athlete than you guys are expecting.
Bucky, we don't want Lance's hometown bias to pollute his conversation surrounding Logan Hall, so why don't you take that?
Look, Logan Hall is someone who has a lot of supporters out there in the scouting community. This is a guy that plays tremendously hard. He has great effort, great power at the point of attack, and there are people that believe he is one of those sleeper picks, one of those hidden gems that you may find on day 2 that emerges as a all-star caliber player. A lot of love on the streets for Logan Hall.
All right, and by the way, we saw a little something from Logan Hall at Senior Bowl, did we not?
Yeah, we did.
A moment, maybe something that we'd like to relive. Perhaps you remember it?
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
Problem rushing inside. Watch his hands. Watch how quick his hands are right here, right off the snap. Hits him with a little slap swim. Slap with one arm, swim that other arm over the top, and that rep was over.
But
this
guess
time he got caught.
But guess what?
Second rep, Cole Strange.
There you go.
Strange. Second rep. He's like, yeah. You want to celebrate the first one?
Let's
you want to celebrate the first one? Let's do it again.
Let's get round 3.
It's getting heated.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
We've never seen Strange on a third
Let's
rep.
do it. Ooh, I like that. They called each other out. Let's go.
This is uncharted waters, the third rep. I'm just waiting for somebody behind him to yell, put him in a body bag, Logan!
You saw it unfold, Buck.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I like the way he competed. I like the effort and energy. I don't mind those guys being a little chatty. I prefer my D-line to be a little chatty, a little nasty. I don't mind them calling out the opponent because you got to play nasty in the trenches.
All right, Lance, let's get to Devonta Wyatt.
Devonta Wyatt is a really, really good football player. Devonta Wyatt is a player who was kind of overshadowed during the year because of all the great players that we're going to see today from Georgia. But then at the Senior Bowl, when he's kind of standing on his own and showing you what he could do, it was really, really impressive. He has got first-step quickness like you can't believe. I mean, he will get into the gap and really cause disruptions. And when he's not disrupting with his first step, he's able to use his hands to defeat blockers as a one-on-one pass rusher. You see here, a lot of big men could not spy a quarterback like he can, and yet that's what he's able to do. But in the Senior Bowl, this was a daily occurrence. One slap, rip, slap, swim, everything. I mean, every move he made was efficient, and he got to the quarterback very quickly. So you're taking an NFL talent from the college level into a combine where he's going to blow it out of the water today, and he is going to be a guy who's answered questions. Any questions he has have already been answered on tape and at the Senior Bowl. So I think he's a very clean prospect.
All right, Bucky, let's wrap it with Travis Jones.
Travis Jones was another guy that showed up at the Senior Bowl who also has the ability to play at the point of attack. Not quite the pass rusher, but really solid and sturdy against the run. And when we think about the way the game is trending, yes, it's all about the pass, but you got to earn the right to get after the passer. Travis Jones is one of those guys who can help you win on early downs and set your edge rushers up to have wins on later downs.
Travis Jones was a menace in one-on-one drills because he was such a bull rusher. What happened was when he just went at the bull rush, he was destroying guys in one-on-one. You see right here, he's taking a lead right here. Oh, that's a big, strong boy right there. Stuber is a big, strong Michigan Wolverine, and Jones just ripped through him. He's big, he's got good length, and he was a wicked, wicked bull rusher in the one-on-one drills. And so he was the guy that I was looking towards. I wanted to see if you have anchor. I want to see you matched up with Travis Jones. That's what I wanted to see because he was the ultimate test there from a bull rush standpoint.
I will tell you this. One thing that has become abundantly clear as we have but one segment to go, I kind of know why Georgia won the national championship. In case you were wondering, like, why did it play out the way it did in college football? Because we've talked about nothing but Georgia players today when it comes to defensive line and linebackers as we're getting it started. We will discuss who's going to make some money. Some guys are going to climb boards just like they have in the previous 2 nights. We'll get into your money players when we return, and we put a wrap on NFL Scouting Combine today, 4 p.m. Rich and DJ going to get it rolling. We'll do one more segment prior to that next. Well, we're getting started here in just minutes. It is day 3 of the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine, 4 to 9 p.m. approximately. Our man DJ Rich Eisen going to be on the mics entertaining you. And right across the camera behind it for me is what I believe is Cam Jordan in pajama bottoms and socks. The man is not wearing shoes. So you're going to be able to see that when they come on to start that broadcast. It'll start with the defensive tackles, followed by all those edge players that we have been talking about. Truly the group of record when it comes to the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine, followed by the linebackers. So with Bucky Brooks and Lance Zierlein, guys, let's talk about who is going to make some money. There's going to be a lot of money made in this group because a lot of edge players are going to go early. But, Buck, why don't you get us started? A player that you think is going to make money because of the Combine here today.
Boye Mafe from Minnesota. This is an edge rusher who has flashed dominant potential, not only at Minnesota, but also during his time at the Senior Bowl. Well, now you want to get a chance to see him work out. And the one thing that we know, coaches get really excited about guys that are fast, guys that are strong, guys that are explosive, and guys that flash the ability to take some of the moves and sequence them. He has a lot of potential. I think he's going to make some money with his performance.
How high Boye Mafe going to go?
I think he may sneak into the bottom of the first round.
Oh, that is making
That's money.
All right, let's get one more.
That's money.
How about one more money player? Bucky.
Me?
Yeah.
You got to double down.
Oh, you're on a roll.
Okay, Trayvon Walker, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
From Georgia.
I'm trying to save you. That's why.
It's going to go back-to-back. We can go back-to-back. I didn't know I was up. So the Georgia interior player, the versatile guy that can play anywhere. His versatility sometimes could be viewed as a knock because you don't see him really major in anything. But this guy's collected enough minors that he is going to be a graduate student who excels at the next level. This is a big-time player. He's going to blow up the combine from an athletic standpoint.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously my understanding of football is rudimentary and borderline embarrassing. But am I correct when I say I remember the college football season? I remember Georgia 44 being all over the place, and I remember Alabama 88. Be a defender that was wearing 88 all over the place.
Yeah.
What the two dudes. I can't remember the dude's name. He's a young guy on Alabama that rocked 88, and half of that was 44. That's what I'm talking about.
That's your evaluation.
That's the analysis that I give you.
I like
Lance, why don't you make money for
you're the best of Purdue front seven guys, too.
Yeah.
You got
okay,
Karloftis
so
in there?
I cheat a little bit. I always like to use Bruce Feldman's freak list. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
William Maffey was on the freak list. This guy, Devonta Wyatt's on the freak list. So, I already told you he was going to blow up the combine, and he's going to blow up the combine. He's going to make a lot of money. See, the thing that Wyatt is doing is he's separating himself from a great unit. He's a great player. A lot of times you see players who get lumped in with a unit or a scheme or a system. And if you had any doubt that he's a system guy, the Senior Bowl was step one, and this is going to be step two. He will separate with his athleticism and his testing. So the postseason process, the quote-unquote draft season, is about separating yourself and separating yourself from maybe your team, your scheme, your system, but also the other players in your defensive group. And I think that's what Devonta Wyatt is about to do.
If you needed everything, you need it all on your front, would you rather have Davis, Wyatt, or Walker? You can only have one. You need everything.
You know what? For me, it's Wyatt. Yeah, for me, it's Wyatt.
Well,
I think
Davis.
Davis.
Your money player.
I think Davis is. That's why he's the money player. Davis is probably not going to be on third. I still have some questions I want answered about and where you play Walker. Wyatt, I know who he is. Plug and play right now.
All right, let's get another one.
My other one is going to be, Nick Benito. So, Oklahoma, this was fun watching his tape. He reminds me of a basketball player, the way he rushes the quarterback. He is going to be a really, really good taster as well. I'd be surprised if he's not, because he's fast, he's fluid. He's not the biggest linebacker out there. Well, he's a 3-4 outside linebacker. They've got him as an edge. But what you're going to have with Benito is a guy who can go with two-way goes. So when we talk about two-way goes, the ability to light you up off the edge, the ability to come back inside to where you get tackles saying, which way is he coming from? Is he coming from the outside? Is he coming back inside? He is a really fluid athlete in space as well. So Nick Benito right there, you saw that change of direction. He's got the ability to drop in space and cover, to range across the field, and then as a pass rusher, I think his athleticism is really going to stand out.
We got a lot going on with us. Lance decided to wear the State Farm shirt. Bucky's wearing ankle socks. And I mentioned, and we got it. We're paying, way to go, Crack Staff. I told you Cam Jordan was wearing pajamas and no shoes, and there it is right there. That's a man who is comfortable. By the way, Cam Jordan gave his size 16 shoes to a prospect. That is why he's not wearing shoes.
Oh, that's awesome.
All around, good guy. A huge thank you for all of you that watch. Look at Bucky wearing ankle socks.
I mean, only fast guys wear ankle
Look at
socks.
this, man. I got myself some Misfit socks.
Oh, man. Only fast guys.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like it.
Enjoy the combine tonight. Tonight's the night. We got our edge rushers, our defensive tackles, and our linebackers. DJ and Rich Eisen going to carry you through this evening, and we are going to be watching every last second. We'll be back with the defensive backs tomorrow on Scouting Combine Today.